Why being nice is the fastest way to destroy your own life. The brutally honest guide to your rage. There is a monster living in your basement, scratching at the floorboards of your mind, and you think that by ignoring it, you are being a good person. But in reality, you are just feeding it exactly what it needs to eventually tear your entire house down. I want you to think about the last time you swallowed a scream. You know exactly the moment I am talking about. Maybe it was at work, sitting in that beige, airless meeting room, watching a manager who has half your IQ but double your salary explain a concept you invented 3 months ago. Maybe it was at a family dinner, staring at a plate of cold turkey while a relative made a passive-aggressive comment about your life choices, disguised as concern. Or maybe it was with your partner, having the same circular argument where you felt unheard, unseen, and utterly dismissed. And what did you do? Did you flip the table? Did you stand up and speak the cold, hard truth? No. You did what you always do. You did what we are trained to do, like obedient dogs. You smiled, you nodded, you made yourself small. You felt that hot, acidic tightness in your chest, that lump in your throat that tastes like sulfur, and you pushed it down. You told yourself, I am the bigger person. I am calm. I am rational. I am nice. But let's be honest with each other for a second. Just you and me. That wasn't peace you were feeling. That wasn't virtue. That was cowardice dressed up in a cheap suit of morality. You weren't being stoic. You were being harmless. And deep down, in the darkest part of your stomach, you hated yourself for it. You went home, and that energy didn't just disappear. It turned into insomnia. It turned into scrolling through your phone until 3 a.m, desperate for a dopamine hit to numb the humiliation. It turned into snapping at someone innocent later. You are terrified of your own rage. You treat it like a radioactive waste that needs to be buried. But here is the promise I am going to make to you right now. If you stay with me until the end of this video, you will realize that this beast you are so afraid of is actually the only thing that can save you. You are going to learn that your anger is not a mistake in the system. It is the security system itself. And right now, you have cut the wires and left the front door wide open. We live in a culture that has completely fetishized the idea of niceness. From the moment you entered kindergarten, you were given a very specific script. The script says that anger is bad. It says that raising your voice is a sign of instability. It says that if you are truly enlightened, truly professional, or truly lovable, you should be a Zen garden of endless tolerance. We look at the Dalai Lama, or these filtered Instagram gurus, and we think the goal of life is to never be disturbed. This is the great illusion. We confuse being harmless with being good. Listen to me closely. A rabbit is not virtuous because it doesn't eat the wolf. A rabbit is just a rabbit. It has no choice. It is harmless because it is weak. Virtue requires the capacity for violence and the conscious choice to keep it sheathed. If you are incapable of biting, your niceness isn't a moral stance. It is a survival strategy born of fear. The problem is that you have bought into the lie that your anger is the opposite of your love. You think that to be a good partner, a good employee, or a good son or daughter, you must amputate your aggression. So, you become the yes man. You become the emotional sponge for everyone else's dysfunction. You stay late at work to fix errors you didn't make because you don't want to cause a fuss. You let your friends pick the restaurant, the movie, and the vacation spot every single time because you go with the flow. But look at the cost. Look at the invoice life is sending you. This repression is not free. It costs you your self-respect. When you consistently act like a doormat, you cannot be surprised when people treat you like one. People are efficient. If they realize they can walk over you to get what they want without catching a spike in the foot, they will do it. Not because they are evil, but because you have trained them that you are safe terrain. You think you are keeping the peace, but you are actually waging a silent war against yourself. Every time you smile when you want to growl, you are telling your subconscious mind, I am not worth defending. Do that enough times, and you result in a state of existential exhaustion. You feel drained not because you are working too hard, but because you are holding a beach ball underwater 24 hours a day. That is the energy drain. The effort it takes to pretend you are not a beast is killing you faster than the beast ever could. I remember the exact moment I realized I had become a ghost in my own life. I was about 26, working in a paidoivautesta corporate job that can only be described as a mausoleum for human creativity. I had a boss. Let's call him Gary. Gary was the type of man who mistook his own anxiety for leadership. He would send emails at 11 p.m. and expect a reply by 7 a.m. He would steal ideas in meetings and then blame the team when his execution failed. For 2 years, I played the good soldier. I absorbed it. I rationalized it. I told myself, he's just stressed. I'll be the bigger person. I was proud of my ability to endure. I thought my high pain tolerance was a superpower. One afternoon, we were in a client meeting. The project was behind schedule because Gary had forgotten to sign off on the budget for 3 weeks. The client was furious. Gary, without missing a beat, pointed at me across the table and said, "Well, if my team hadn't dropped the ball on the paperwork, we wouldn't be in this mess." The room went quiet. All eyes were on me. The old me, the nice me, would have nodded, taken the blame, and apologized just to smooth things over. I would have saved Gary to save the mood. I felt that familiar burn in my stomach, that desire to vomit and run away. But something snapped. It wasn't a loud snap. It was very quiet. I looked at Gary, and for the first time, I didn't see a boss. I saw a frightened little man lying to save his own skin. I didn't yell. I didn't flip the table. I just stopped smiling. I leaned forward, put my pen down, and said in a very low, flat voice, "Gary, that is factually incorrect. I sent you the budget on the 4th, the 12th, and the 15th. I have the timestamps on my laptop right now. Do you want me to pull them up for the client? Or should we move on to how we are going to fix this together?" The silence that followed lasted maybe 5 seconds, but it felt like 5 years. Gary turned pale. The client looked at me, then at Gary, and realized exactly what was happening. Gary stuttered something about miscommunication and moved on. After the meeting, I went to the bathroom and my hands were shaking. I thought I was going to be fired. I thought I had ruined my career. But when I walked back to my desk, a strange thing happened. Gary didn't fire me. In fact, for the rest of my time there, he never interrupted me again. He never stole my work again. The client started emailing me directly. I realized then that for 2 years I hadn't been respectful. I had been prey. And the moment I showed a singular flash of the fang, just a glimpse, the entire dynamic shifted. I hadn't become a monster. I had just introduced the monster to the room, and suddenly everyone sat up straight. This isn't just about office politics. This is about the fundamental structure of the human psyche. One of the greatest explorers of this dark territory was the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. Jung had this concept he called the shadow. The shadow consists of all the parts of yourself that you have rejected because they didn't fit the image of who you wanted to be. Your aggression, your lust, your selfishness, your power-hungry nature. We think the shadow is evil. Jung argued that the shadow is simply energy. It is the roots of the tree. A tree with a massive canopy of leaves, your nice persona, needs a massive root system reaching deep into the dirt to support it. If you cut off the roots because you don't like the dirt, the tree falls over. Jung famously said that he would rather be whole than good. Think about that. To be whole means you acknowledge that you are capable of terrible things. It means you acknowledge that inside you there is a capacity for destruction. It's like the ancient warrior societies, the Spartans, the samurai, the Vikings. They didn't pretend they weren't killers. They built rigorous codes of honor, rituals, and discipline to contain that killing instinct. They understood that a man without the capacity for violence is useless to the tribe when the wolves come. Contrast that with modern society. We are like a civilization that has banned fire because fire burns people. So now we freeze to death in the dark. We have no rituals for our rage. We have no context for our aggression. We just have human resources policies and Xanax. We repress the warrior archetype until it curdles into the nice guy who eventually snaps and punches a hole in the drywall or has a nervous breakdown at 45. The ancient Stoics, too, are often misunderstood here. People think Stoicism is about having no emotions, like a statue. Nonsense. Seneca wrote extensively about anger, warning against being enslaved by it. But the Stoic ideal wasn't to be a limp noodle. It was to be the master of the house. The goal is to feel the surge of fire, acknowledge it, and then decide, rationally, where to aim the flamethrower. It's the difference between a forest fire that burns down your village and a controlled burn that clears the land for new growth. So, how do we translate this into the 21st century? How do we use this ancient wisdom when our battles are fought via email and at Thanksgiving dinners? You need to rewrite the operating manual you have been using. Here are the 3 laws of the hidden manual of reality regarding rage. Rule number 1. Anger is not an emotion. It is a boundary alarm. Stop treating anger like a sin. Treat it like a dashboard light in your car. When the check engine light comes on, you don't smash the dashboard with a hammer to make it stop. You look under the hood. When you feel that flash of rage, it is data. It is your psyche screaming, warning. A value is being violated. A boundary has been crossed. You are being disrespected. If you ignore the alarm, the engine, your soul, will eventually explode. Rule number 2. If you cannot say no, your yes is meaningless. This is the currency of relationships. If you are the person who always says yes, your agreement has 0 value. It's inflation. You are printing too much yes money. People value what is scarce. If they know you are capable of saying no, of walking away, of ending the conversation, then when you choose to stay and help, it is a gift. If you can't walk away, you are a hostage, not a helper. Rule number 3. People respect the loaded gun in the holster, not the water pistol. This sounds harsh, but it is true. We are biological creatures. We sniff out weakness. There is a specific energy to a person who has integrated their shadow. They are not aggressive. They are heavy. They have gravity. When they speak, they don't need to shout. There is a calm weight to their presence because everyone subconsciously knows this person is peaceful by choice, not by inability. That heaviness is the safest place to be. It makes others feel safe around you because they know you can protect the perimeter. Now let's get practical. I am not telling you to go to work tomorrow and start flipping desks or challenging your father-in-law to a duel. That is childish. That is the beast. Controlling you. We want you controlling the beast. The goal is what I call cold aggression. Hot aggression is screaming, crying, and losing control. Cold aggression is surgical. It is the ability to become extremely still when things go wrong. Step 1 is the tactical pause. The next time someone disrespects you or crosses a line, your instinct will be to either laugh nervously to diffuse the tension, the fawn response, or to snap back instantly, the fight response. Do neither. Do nothing. Take 3 seconds. Look them dead in the eye. Silence makes people incredibly uncomfortable. It forces them to replay what they just said in their own heads. Step 2 is naming the game. Don't get emotional, get descriptive. Use the I notice technique. I noticed that you interrupted me 3 times while I was speaking. Is there a reason for that? Or, I notice you're making a joke about my weight. Explain to me why that is funny. You are not attacking them. You are holding a mirror up to their behavior. You are asking them to account for their rudeness. Watch how quickly they backpedal. Step 3 is the low frequency. When we get nervous, our voice pitch goes up. We sound like children asking for permission. Consciously drop your voice. Speak slower. Do not smile. Smiling is a submission signal in primates when facing a threat. If you are setting a boundary, wipe the smile off your face. Your face should be a blank slate. Step 4 is the willingness to walk. This is the Toksim nuclear option, but you must have it. You must be willing to leave the job, leave the relationship, or leave the room. If you are not willing to walk away, you have no leverage. You don't have to actually leave every time, but you have to know in your heart that you could. That internal knowledge changes your posture. It changes the micro expressions on your face. Imagine your anger is a large, black Doberman sitting at your side. It is well trained. It doesn't bark at squirrels. It sits, perfectly still. But everyone in the room sees the Doberman. They know it has teeth. And because they see the dog, they speak to you with respect. You don't have to command the dog to attack. The dog just has to be present. That is the goal. Here is the uncomfortable truth I promised you at the beginning. You are not tired because you are doing too much. You are tired because you are waging a civil war against your own nature. You are tired because you are acting out a role in a play that you hate, hoping for applause from an audience that doesn't care about you. You think that if you unleash the beast, you will become a villain. But the opposite is true. The most dangerous people in the world are the nice ones who have repressed their shadow for 40 years until they crack. They are the ones who manipulate, who use passive aggression, who secretly resent their families while baking them cookies. That is true toxicity. By claiming your rage, by taming the beast and putting it on a leash, you actually become capable of true kindness. You can be kind because you are not afraid. You can be generous because you are not being exploited. You can be gentle because you are strong. There is a beautiful, terrifying freedom in realizing that you are dangerous. It means you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are a player in the game. So here is the question you need to answer tonight when you look in the mirror. Are you going to keep living as the obedient rabbit? Terrified of the world, hoping that if you are just nice enough, the wolves won't eat you? Or are you ready to open the basement door, look that monster in the eyes and say, heal? Because the world doesn't need any more harmless, resentful, burnt-out martyrs. It has plenty of those. What the world needs, what your family needs, what you need, is a warrior who knows exactly when to keep the sword in the sheath and exactly when to draw it. Be dangerous, and then be good.